So for today's lesson class is actually it is a continuation of the discussion last week because last week we discussed about the general form and the standard form of our quadratic function. And we know already what are the parts of our general form and as well as in our standard form. So now we are going to know what are the effects of the changing the values of our h, a, and k. So ang kaning a, h, and k class, where can we see this one in our general form or in our standard form? Sige daw, where can we see this a, h, and k?
Vertex, sir.
Okay, the vertex or the standard form. Very good. So, ato ni siyang ipakita later on. So, nganong unsay changes ni ay unsay mahitabo if atong i-change ang value sa atong a, h, and k. Okay? Sa ato ang graph ba kay mo-move ba siya upward, mo-move ba siya downward, leftward, rightward, or anywhere else in your graph. So let's start first with the beginning of its changes and arranged siya mag-base, which is what we called our parent function. So when we say parent function, that is a function out of a group of functions that all the other functions are derived from. So meaning to say this is the basis. Since this is where we got all of our other functions. So they are the most basic form of function in that group. Okay, so we have there, it is the most basic. So here in our parent function, we use our y is equals to x squared. Okay, y is equals to x squared. So that is our parent function here. So now in our y is equals to x squared, we can really or we can have change this one into our vertex form. But in other way na siya. So you have there y is equals to quantity x minus h squared and then plus k. So as you can see here, class, na-change na siya into a vertex or standard form. So, a na siya, a minus h squared. So, you have there your values of a. Kung atong kuhaon, we have there 1. And then for our h, that is 0. And then for our k, that is as well as 0. So, if we're going to get its vertex, that is 0, 0. So, kani siya, vertex na niya. And then, for the axis of symmetry, that is x is equals to 0. So, kung unsay mohang h class, mauna siya mong axis of symmetry. And then, the graph there is upward. So, mag-change day ko og kuan ani class ha kanang tab because I'm gonna show you graph for this one. So, we have here, I hope makita ra pod ninyo, no? So, that is the graph of our y is equals to x squared. So, nana siya diri. By the way, I'm using Desmos in graphing. So, sa ato ang y is equals to x squared, as you can see, that is in the origin. Ang ihang graph is in the origin, yun siya. So, manang this is our parent function of our given here. Okay? So, mo ni siya atong basis sa ato ang changes sa A, H, o K. Okay? So, now, balik na sa ato ang slide. So, we have here, let's start with the effects of changing the values of A. So, we have here, draw the graphs of the following quadratic function on the same coordinate plane. And we are going to use this following nga mga equations or following functions, which is y is equals to 2x squared. The next one is y is equals to 3x squared. 3, we have 6. Y is equals to 6x squared. And then the fourth one, we have y is equals to 1/2 x squared. And then we have y is equals to 1/3 x squared. And the last one is y is equals to 1/4 x squared. So we are going to view this one kung unsa kaya ang changes using our Desmos. Okay, so i-share na ko siya balik ha. And then akong i-encode ang mga given nato ganina. So you have there, atong isuwat ang ato ang, di ba mao man ni siya atong parent function, ang y is equals to x squared. And then atong i-input ang katong given. So you have there this one. So you have y is equals to 2x squared. So what can you see, class? Ilang difference? Ang kanang red ha, mao na siya tong parent function. And then ang ato ang blue, mao na siya to ang new nga function. So what can you see, class, sa ilahang sa ato ang graph? Unsay nausab niya? Sige daw. Makita raman ninyo, no? Ang spacing. Yeah, what happened to spacing?
Ni-narrow siya, sir.
Okay, very good. Ni-narrow siya. Now, atong i-input na pod ang ato ang lain nga given. We have y and then 3x squared. Mana siya ang green, class? What happened to our graph?
Mas ni-narrow pagid siya.
Mas ni-narrow pagid siya. Very good. Now, let's go to our y is equals to 6x squared. Mana siya ang violet. So, what happened to our graph here?
Samot pa jud kanaro.
Okay, ni samot pa jud og kanaro. So,
Ano nga nagpan vertical line.
okay, very good. So, unsa kaha ato ang makuan ani, class? Ma-say. So, kung meaning to say, kung ato adi ay kaning part diri sa kaning ato ang coefficient, kay kung musmudako gani siya, it will become more narrower. And then, our graph, basta positive gani ato ang coefficient, it means to say that upward ang iyahang graph or pababaw. This one. So, meaning to say, na siya changes, mo narrow siya kung mudako ang iyahang coefficient. And then, kung positive iyahang coefficient, upward ang iyahang graph. Okay. Or not just only positive, but like greater than 0 nga numbers. Okay. Now, atong i-input na po ang ato ang lain nga given, class. We have there y is equals to 1/2. And then that is x squared. So, what can you see, class? Kanang black.
Ni big siya.
Okay, ni wide siya or ni big. Very good. And now, what if we have here y is equals to 1/3 x squared? Oops, sayop siya. X squared.
Mas ni wide pagid.
Mas ni wide pagid og maayo. And then the last one we have there, 1/4 x squared.
Widest of them all.
Okay, the widest of them all. Very good. So if fraction kay mo wide siya. Yes, because di ba ang fraction kay mas gamay ba na siya value nga number. Right? Pero kung dako gani iyang number, iyang graph kay narrow. So that's great since inyo siyang na-identify. So what if ato siyang ipang negative, class? So kung ato siyang ipang negative, as you can see, iyang graph is pa downward na. Okay? So, kuan na siya ma-downward. Okay? So, meaning to say, kung ato ang kuan di ay, kung ato ang A ang ma-negative, it means to say our graph will be downward. Okay. So, mao na siya, class. Mao na siya tong parent function. So, nakita na ba nato ang effects kung mag-change sa atong values of A? So, A man ni siyang nadere.
Nakita na.
Okay, very good. So, mo na siya tong changes class. Okay, so, sa inyong graph day class ha, pwede mo magamit og Desmos. Okay, mo na siya, desmos.com. Okay, so, mo to siya. We have here in our effects of changing the values of A.
So, picturean na to, sir, atong graph, sir. Masa mo answer ta to.
Yes, pwede na mo mag-screenshot.
Sige, sir.
Okay, so always remember that for A greater than 0, the parabola opens upward. Okay, upward. So if the absolute value of A is greater than 1, the graph of the parabola is narrower than the graph of y is equals to x squared. Diba? Kay mao man ni siya tong parent function ganina, mao man ni siya tong basis. Kung iyahang values of a di kay greater than 1, narrower siya. Diba? Kay kung mas dako ang number, mas mo narrow man siya. Well, on the other hand, if you have there, if for a is less than 0, the parabola opens downward. Or meaning to say, if negative imong number, your parabola opens downward. And then if your absolute value of a is less than 1, the graph of the parabola is wider than the graph of y is equals to x squared. So, meaning to say, mas gamay pa sa 1, like mga fractions na, that's the time, wider iyahang graph. So far, do you have any questions for our effects of changing of values of A? None, Ra? Okay, very good. Now, next time is we're going to have the effects of changing the values of H. So, sa H na punta sa atong standard or vertex form. So, you have there, we're gonna draw again the graphs of the following quadratic function in the same coordinate plane. So, we have here for kabuok, y is equals to quantity x minus 1 squared, y is equals to x minus 3 squared, y is equals to x plus 2 squared, and y is equals to quantity x plus 4 squared. So, asa atong h ana niya class? Itong atong tanawon.
1,
Okay, kana sa number 1 kay 1. And for number 2, that is
3,
3. For
Sa
number
number
3,
kay 2,
2.
4 kay 4.
Okay, 4 kay 4. Very good. Diba, ma-identify man nato siya using our, kuan man to itong gigamit, diba, sa standard form of our quadratic function. So, very good. Now, this time is ato siyang ipakita and then para ma-identify nato unsa iyahang changes. So, we have here. So, ang first na ito nga ibutang yun is ato ang parent function. Mao man na siya itong basis. So, we have there y is equal to quantity x minus h, x minus 1, and then squared. Sige, what can we see sa ato ang graph here? Unsay changes niya? Ang green, ang parent function, ang violet kay mao na siya to ang first equation. Wala.
Ni-move siya to the right, sir.
Okay. So, you have there. Wala siya sa middle. And then, hiwi siya. Not on the middle. Okay. So, meaning to say, ni-move siya to the right, no? So, ni-move siya to the right. Now, what if ang ato ang next na sad is x minus 3 squared?
Move pa yun siya sa right.
Okay, ni-move pa gyud siya sa right. Very good. And actually, class, kana imong 1 dira, ang kana siyang sa imuhang violet is ika-1 siya ni move sa imuhang right. Dili lang kay nato siya makita nga 1 kay 0 to 10 manggod ni siya. So, meaning to say, kung ano siya, kani siya mo'y 1 diri, and then 2, and then 3, 4, ato siya i-zoom ayo. Para mas magamay. Okay. As you can see, ni-move siya to the right, ang kaning violet na to, og 1 place. Diba? Sa imuhang graph. So, from our parent function, ni-move siya 1. And then sa next na to kaning black is ni move siyag 3 because ang imuhang h is 3 man. So you have there 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So it means to say iyang movement di ay kay to the right if positive ang imuhang h. Okay, now let's go to our next nga given. We have there y is equal to quantity x plus 2 and then squared. So what happens sa graph
left
class?
gid na siya. Oh, left gid eh.
Okay, left siya. Because unsa man atong values ani sa to ang h class? Unsay value sa atong h ani?
Positive 2.
Positive 2 or negative 2? Kato akong giingon last time. Okay, that is negative 2. So nga naman, di ba, ato ang standard equation ato is y is equals to x minus h man, di ba? Minus h and then squared. So kung na-plus na siya, meaning to say, ang basic magyud ato class is minus gyud na siya. Minus gyud na yung original. So kung ma-change na gani, for example, kani siya negative 2 ni siya kay na-change man into positive ang ato ang sign here. Di din ninyo makita. Kani. So, kani siya, kana siya x minus h gyud na siya. Originally, that is minus. So, since nahimo man siya positive, meaning to say, ang ato ang h ana is negative 2. Because negative 2, ikuha mo sa negative, di ba, mahimo siyang positive. So, kani siya, negative 2 ang h ani. Ang kani kay 1 gyud siya, kay originally, kuan man ni siya, x minus h. So, waman ma-change iyahang negative sign. So, 1 ang iyahang h. And then, the same as here. Positive 3 po ni siya mo nang to the right. While ang kani, negative 2 na siya, iyang movement sa iyahang graph is to the left na. Nasabtan ba? Diba, mo man ni siya to ang kuan last time pag know na to kung unsay value sa a, value sa h, o value sa k. Di ba, mama ni siya itong gibuhat last time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, ayaw lang yun kalimot nga ang kung ani niya, ang basic or ang original niya nga form is x minus h. X minus h yun na siya. Kung plus ni siya, meaning to say, ang imong h ana is negative. Kung minus ra na siya, stay put lang, di makita ang arrow, no? Sige, ana-ana, sig move, pero di nyo makita. Okay. So, mo lang na siya itong hinumduman. So, mo nang as you can see here, sa itong red is to the left na siya, ni move siya 2 places to the left. Kay negative 2 naman na siya. Meaning to say, kung negative 2, to the left iyang movement. Okay? Now, let's have our last one, which is y is equals to x plus 4. And then squared. So, as you can see, ang movement na pod is to the left gihapon and then 4 na siya from our parent function. Yan, i-move na siya to the left. Kay negative 4 man na siya. Iyang h, ang value sa h niya. Okay, nasabtan ba class? Sa ato ang changes. To the left, to the left. Okay. Okay, very good. So, sa ato adeng h, no, we can identify nga kung positive ang iyang h, asa yang movement class. Kung positive ang h. To the right. Very good. How about if negative?
To the left.
Okay. Or we can say, class, here that we are going to remember if h is greater than 0, so it means to say positive number, the parabola translate h units to the right. And if h is less than 0, so less than 0 mo na siyang mga negative numbers, the parabola translate h units to the left. Okay? So, do you have any questions in the effects of changing the values of h? Natay questions? Okay, very good. So now class, unsa ganito atong kuan sa A? Unsa gyud atong mga changes kung ang A ang ato ang usbon? Kung positive,
Munaro mo wide.
okay, monaro og mo wide. And then kung positive, unsay ang graph? Upward, downward?
Upward.
Upward. If negative,
Downward.
downward. Very good. Okay, so now let's go to the last one, which is the effects of changing the K. So we have here, we're going to draw again this following quadratic function in the same coordinate plane. So as you can see, full na gyud ang ato ang kuan dere, standard or vertex form. So you have there, y is equals to quantity x minus 1 squared plus 2. Diba tong k ani is naman sa end part. We have there y is equals to x minus 3 squared plus 3. Y is equals to x plus 2 squared minus 1. Okay, and the last one is y is equals to quantity x plus 4 squared and then minus 2. So here class, atong i-identify iyahang mga k. Unsay k nato sa number 1?
2.
2. K nato sa number 2?
3.
3. K for number 3?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. K for our number 4?
Negative.
Negative 2. So tanaw na to unsay changes niya using or unsay yang mahappen sa iyang graph if ato siyang i-change ang ato ang values of k. So parent function gihapon ta nga y is equals to x squared. So ang first na to nga given there was y is equals to quantity x minus 1 and then squared raised to the power of 2 plus 2. So what can you see sa graph class?
Nilupad.
Nilupad. Sa tong makita sa tong graph dere. Ni-move siya higher but to the right. So, di ba, makita na to class, di ba, tong h kay 1 man. So, ni-move siya 1 to the right. As you can see, 1 to the right. And then, makita ba kong cursor? 1 to the right. And then, as you can see, ang k kay 2 man. So, nisaka siya 2 units upward. Nisaka and then upward pagid. Okay, so you have there, ni-move siya 2 units upward. So, here kay, ato ang k, ay ato ang h kay 1 man. So, to the right, ni-move siya 1. And then, atong k kay 2. So, nisaka siya og kaduha. So, makita dyan na to no, naday changes kung natay k, values of k. Now, let's go to the next one. Y is equals quantity x minus 1 squared. And then, we have there plus 3. So, here. 1 to 5 lang para mas makita. So, kanang block diha class. Yan sa nasad siya. Same position but higher. Okay, very good. Now, for our next one, we have y is equals to x plus 1 and then squared and then we have there negative 1. Sa ito makita. Ari lang atong basis, atong parent function, kaning green. Yeah, and then red, mao na siya atong ika-fourth nga equation or function. So, what happened?
Ni left shutter kay kuan sa negative 1 na h, then ni downward, ni down siya kay tungod sa negative 1 na k.
Okay, very good. So, as you can see, sa atong h, di ba, negative 1 siya. And then, ingon man ta, basta, ato ang h kay negative, to the left, ihang movement from our parent function. So, ni move siya to the left og 1. And then, since as we can see, our K there is negative 1 man, so ni downward siya og 1 unit. Okay, kay negative 1 man ato ang K. Okay, very good. Na-identify na. Now, let's go to the last one we have here. This one. We have there the blue one. So, unsay K niya class?
Negative 2.
Okay,
Negative 2.
very good. That is negative 2. As you can see, ni-move siya from our parent function downward og kaduha. Okay? Ni-move siya for our negative downward. Kay negative 2 man ang ato ang K. And then for our H, that is negative 3. So, ni-move siya to the left side of 3 units. So, 1, 2, and 3. And then, atong ang K ni-move og 2 units downward. Okay, so, it means to say, class, nga, kung napuday changes ang ato ang K, mausab ang ato ang graph. So, therefore, we have to remember that if our K is greater than 0, the parabola translates K units to the upward or upward. And if K is greater than 0 or less than 0, the parabola translates K units to downward or K units downward. Wala na nang tuda. Okay. So, nada jud siya yung mga kuan sa specific nga gamit ang kanatong A, H, o ang atoang K. Okay. So, very good. Everyone, nasabtan na to ang lesson today or naay questions? Nabay mga pangutana? Okay, wala ra. So, you have to know lang ha, yung kalimtin ninyo kung unsay gamit sa A, unsay gamit sa H, o unsay gamit ni K. So that you will know kung asa ang iyahang effect, inika-change na to sa iyahang mga values. Okay, so now class, let's try to have this example in which we are going to have y is equals to quantity x minus 1 squared minus 4. This time is we're not gonna use a graph. Ato lang gamito ng katong knowledge nga na-learn a while ago. And then we're going to identify unsayang H, unsayang K, unsayang A para makasuwat ta or maka-infer ta unsayang effect sayang movement from our parent function. Okay, so we have there y is equals to quantity x minus 1 and then squared, we have there minus 4. Sige, first thing atong buhaton is we need to get first our values of A, H, and K. So, unsay value na to sa tong A class?
1.
1. Very good. For our H,
1.
1. Our K.
Negative 4.
Okay, very good. So, you have there for your A, that is 1. Kay AX man na siya class. And then, waman siya whole number diha. So, that is 1. And then, H, you have there, negative man gihapon siya. So, meaning to say positive 1. And then, for our K, that is negative 4. Very good. Now, mag-start ta sa ato ang kuan class. Sa ato ang A. 1 man ato ang K class. So, from our given parent function, unsa ato ang graph ani niya? Upward or downward?
Downward.
Okay, upward or downward?
Downward.
Downward. 1 man, 1. Okay. A na to kay 1. Unsa man daw tong giingon? Basta Basta greater than 0, that is upward. Ambot. Okay. Sige, balik ko na to. Diba, we have there for our A. Diba, nata dire? If your A is greater than 0, so meaning to say, upward ato ang graph. And then, kung ato ang A kay greater than 1, ang atong parabola kay narrower than our y is equals to x squared. So, we can say sa ato ang given ganina, since 1 man ang iyahang A, so the parabola opens upward, and then, our parabola is narrower than our parent function nga y is equals to x squared. Ayaw kalimtiha, basta greater than 0 o greater than 1, upward and then narrower. Basta less than 0, parabola downward, and then if less than 1 iyahang A, that is wider. Okay? So now, since atong given, balik na sa ta, this one, so we can say, nga ato ang A ani or ato ang graph is upward and then narrower siya sa ato ang parent function. Now, how about for our H class? Unsa may movement sa H?
Right.
Okay, to the right. Very good. So, since H is equals to 1, the graph moves 1 unit to the right. Very good. How about for our K? Negative 4 man siya.
Paubos ka ng upat.
Okay, paubos, upat. Or we can say, the graph moved 4 units downward. Okay, so you have there, the graph of y is equals to quantity x minus 1 squared minus 4 is narrower than the graph of y is equals to x squared. Diba kay kuan man siya? Greater than 1. So, narrower siya. And then, the graph move 1 unit to the right and 7 units, or no, not 7 but 4 units down. Okay? So, we have there, our opening is upward. Our vertex kay 1 og negative 4. So, kanang H nimo og K. And then, for your axis of symmetry is mo na siya mong H, which is 1. So, kung ato na siyang tanawon class, ato siyang i-check ha kung sakto ba gyud ang iyahang ato ang inference niya. So, ato siyang tanawon using our graph. So, atong tanawon ha, we have there ang iyahang H kuno kay move 1 unit to the right, and then iyahang K kay 4 units down, and then upward ang iyahang graph. Okay. So, ato siyang tanawon dire. So, ang kanang green mo na siya to ang parent function, and then ang kani ato ang here is katong given ato. Sakto ba class? Ni move siya 1 unit to the right? Diba sakto? Ni move siya 1 unit to the right. Kaya makita man nato siya from here. Ni move siya 1 unit. And then, ato ang K, ni-move ba siya 4 units down? Count na to, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, sakto sud siya. Then, ang ato ang opening kay upward. Diba? So, we can say, or by just knowing our values of A, H, and K, we will know what are the effects if ato siyang i-change from our parent function. So, mani siya atong basis ang ato ang parent function. Okay, aside from using the graph nga makita gyud nimo unsahang changes, by just knowing those values, maka-infer pod ta og makasuwat ta unsahang changes. Okay, so far na questions. Kani atong mga example class katong first nga example, which is kani siya is without using ani siya ha, without using the graph. Ato rang gitanaw ato ang function diri. Questions? Clarifications? Violent reactions? Okay, wala ra. Now, I think we're going to move with our next example. So we have here y is equals to negative 3 quantity x plus 1 raised to the power of 2 plus 7. So, sa atong given diri class, unsa atong mga values sa a, sa h, o sa k?
Negative 3, negative 1, o 7.
Negative 3, negative 1, o 7. Okay, so you have there negative 3, negative 1, o 7. Negative 3, that is your A. And then, since you have there your H, na mo man siyang positive, so meaning to say negative ang 1 ana. So, you have there negative 1, and then your K is 7. Very good. So, mag-start ta sa atong A class. Our A is negative. Unsa atong graph? Upward, downward?
Downward.
Downward. How about, is it narrower or wider than our y is equals to x squared? Narrow ba siya? Or, okay.
Wider, wide.
Wide or narrow?
Wide.
Okay. Feel ko, ari dyan mo maglibog sa narrow o wide. Balik ko na sa nato siya. Okay. So, di ba we have here, arita magtanaw. So, kung ang iyahang dapat man niya class kay kuan man, kanang absolute value. So, unsay absolute value sa imong A, di ba ang absolute value is always positive man yung answer. So, kung greater than 1, iyahang graph is narrow. Okay, so greater than 1. Dapat, kuan ha, absolute value. So, kung saan imong absolute value sa imong negative 3. So, unsa may absolute value sa negative 3? Diba? That is positive 3. Kay ang absolute value kay positive number raman sa imong given. Even though negative na siya. So, you have there absolute value of your negative 3, that is 3. So, it is greater than 1. So, it means to say narrower ato ang graph. Okay? Kung ang absolute value kay negative 1, not negative 1, but less than 1, like for example, 1/2, 1/4, 3/4, and then 0, it means to say imuhang parabola kay wider. Okay? Basta greater than 1, narrow. Okay? So, balik ta sa itong given number 2. So, darang-daring. Kani siya. So, you have there, since negative 3 man siya, di ba ningon ta downward. That is correct. Downward. And then, negative 3 man siya. So, kung ano to ang absolute value, ano niya? So, ano siya ang forma? Di ba you know absolute value? This was your lesson when you were in grade, kuan man? Grade 7? So, kana siya. Mo na siya absolute value. So, kung ano to ang absolute value, ana, that is equivalent to 3. Kaya, wa may absolute value nga negative. Okay? So, meaning to say 3 man siya. So, greater than 1, it means to say narrower. Okay? Narrower siya. And then, how about for our H class? You have there negative 1. Unsay movement niya? Kung H na ang mogkuan, you have there negative 1. To the left. Very good. Kay negative man siya. Diba, ang ato ang H kay to the right o to the left raman yang movement. So, kung positive, to the right. Kung negative, to the left. Very good. How about for our K? Unsay movement sa 7? Upward or downward?
Upward.
Okay, upward. So, more yun na yung hinumduman class. Ang A, mao na siya ang narrower or wider. And then, yung graph kay upward ba or downward. And then, kung ang H, iyahang movement kay to the right o to the left. Ang ato ang K kay iyahang movement kay munaog ba siya or mupasaka. Okay? So, we have here, since H is equals to negative 1 na siya. So, negative 1, the movements or the graph moves 1 unit to the left. Typo lagi ni. To the left. Daga nagtypo. To To the left na siya kay negative 1. And then since the k is equals to 7, the graph move 7 units downward. Upward, sorry. Positive man day siya, so upward. And then the graph of y is equals to negative 3 quantity x plus 1 raised to the power of 2 plus 7 is narrower kay greater than 3 man siya or greater than 1 man siya sa tuang sa ato ang basis nga 1. So you have there the graph moved 1 unit to the right and 7 units upward. Ano man siya? So ang opening niya is downward kay negative, and then vertex niya is negative 1, 7, and then axis of symmetry is negative 1. Ako sa i-edit la sa kay dahan kay sayop. Left, and then this one is left, this one is negative 1. Okay na, no? Narrower. And then, kanipa day, 7 units up. Okay. So, mano na siya. Makita na to, yung opening ani kay downward, paubos ang graph kay negative. Ang yung vertex kay negative 1, ang h og k, 7, and then axis of symmetry, that is your h. So, kung ato na siyang tanawon diri class, sa tuang Desmos, kung ganan lang to, nato siya i-double check, so you can have this one, negative 3, and then plus 1, and then positive 7. So, mo ni siya tong parent, so mo ni siya to ang kaning equation or kaning function. As you can see, so pabali siya, downward siya kay negative ato ang given. And then narrower siya or mas gamay siya kaysa sa atong parent function kay kuan man siya, greater than 1 man siya, so narrower. And then for our h, di ba move siya 1 unit to the left kay negative 1 man. So ni-move siya 1 unit to the left, and then ang 7 kay ni-move siya unit upward. So mo man ni siya tong parent function. So ni-move siya 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So mo na siya to ang function graph. Okay? So that is how we are going to know the effects of the changing of A, H, and K. Sige na, ay pangutana. Or na pa ba'y naglibog? Yan, hapay naglibog. Or okay ra. So, another gichat si Custer. So, A kay wide or narrow. Wide og narrow og katong upward or downward ihang graph. Duha siya. And then, ang imong H kay, ang H kay left og right. Move left og right. And then, ang K kay movement kung pataas ba, pasaka ba, or panaog. Okay. Okay. Sige. So, ikuan lang jud ninyo siya class, ikanang i-master lang ba, or ila-ilahon lang sa ninyo kung unsa man gyud siyang A, unsa ni siyang H, ug unsa ang K, ug unsa iyang mga changes. Okay? Questions, clarifications, violent reactions? Wala? Okay. So, actually, napatay isa ka lesson. So, maybe ako lang siyang i-upload daan sa to ang LMS para maka-study mo. Okay, actually, naapag yun tayo sa unta ka ni siya. Okay. Di kayo siya lisod, pero magamit inyong learnings pag grade 8. So, ayop na, minaw mo atong systems of linear equation. So, ako lang siyang i-upload daan ha, para mastadihan ninyo. Mano siya, class. Nakakuan man sa time good na short. Pero sige lang, okay ra na siya. Okay, so wala na yung pangutana, no?